Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tracy Roberts, the Fit Chick Cancer Thriver and the owner of Mosaic Fitness and Nutrition. So I am going to talk today about restoration in your body. What happens when you have an injury because of an athletic event or you've gone through surgery and now you need to retrain your body on how to move efficiently. All right, are you guys ready? Here is what you're gonna need. You definitely need some type of ball. This is a trigger point ball. You can get it on Amazon or at Trigger Point. You can use a tennis ball as well. This is nice, it's just a little more cushion. The other thing that can be helpful is a golf ball if you have some areas you really wanna get into. Now these things, this thing that I have around my neck, this is a stretch band. It has little loops in it. It can be really nice to be able to pull the foot and stretch the gastrocnemius, which is the calf muscle. And then finally, this would just be an option. This is what you call a fascia blaster. So I have about 4 different sizes of this. This is one, it's by Ashley Black. She's got a book called The Cellulite Myth. It's really interesting. So I'll put that below if you guys are interested in that. It's got these 2 little pieces here like that, and you can kind of get in between the toes and release any of tight tissue in there. You just have to be sensitive. There are a lot of nerves in the foot. The other one, and this is, my poor thing is broken here. It should be 3 little prongs. The other one I use is this tiny one. You can use this on your face to release fascia. It's also a really great one for the foot. So I'm just gonna show you that. And then she uses this little blaster oil. You can use other oils as well. But I will show you how I use this as I restore my tissue in my foot. All right, let's do it. All right, let's start out with a nice big inhale and exhale, just preparing the body for some work. And since we're working on the flexibility and mobility of the ankle, we're just kind of moving the ankle joint back and forth. We're gonna bend the knees, we're gonna place the ball underneath the toes. Bring the other foot forward, and I want you to make sure you push your hips forward as well. If you can see in my video, I'm making sure that my hip bones, the ASIS joints, are facing forward. It's really easy for those hips to turn. So just be mindful of that. And your heel is on the ground, so you're literally doing a calf stretch right now. And you're just breathing into it and exhaling, just kind of let the body surrender. I'm tilting my torso forward and bending my knee slightly. That's going to get a little bit more into the soleus, which doesn't cross the knee joint. Next, we're going to roll the ball down toward kind of more of the upper part of the arch. So there's the arch of your foot, kind of the upper half of it by the toes, closer to the toes. We're just moving it down slightly and sink into the ball, allowing the fascia. Now you can hold these positions from anywhere to 30 to 60 seconds. Just sink into the floor. Find what works best for your body. If you have a really chronically tight area, it's better to take a longer period of time, maybe even 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. Pay attention to your body, see how you feel, and then also see how you feel 24 hours later. Like maybe it was too much. So it's really about awareness of the body. So now I'm going to move down to more of the lower part of the arch, and I'm going to move my foot back and forth over the ball, just allowing the fascia to get loosened up as I'm moving it back and forth. those of you that have plantar fasciitis, this will probably not feel nice. And so a suggestion would be to do this while you're sitting down so that you just don't have as much pressure on your foot. So then you'll switch feet, and we're gonna go through that all over again. You're gonna start with your toes, your foot's gonna be in front, and you're going to allow yourself to make sure those hips are forward and just sink into the ball as you're stretching the gastrocnemius, or that's your whole calf muscle. So your heel is on the ground as you're doing this. It's just like you would be doing a calf stretch.
You see the parts of me that weren't all that pretty, and with every touch you fix them. Now you've been talking in your sleep. Oh, oh, things you never say to me. Oh, oh, tell me that you've had enough. Our love. Just give me a reason, just
So this is another technique that can be really nice. It's almost like, think of it as you are on a teeter-totter, and that middle section, your foot is going back and forth over it. So the heel is touching, the toes are touching. That's another way you can use the ball for breaking up really tight fascia. So guys, just keep checking in with yourself. If you need to sit, sit. If you need more intensity, grab a golf ball. That will give you more intensity. And then I want you to just stand. I want you to wiggle your toes. I want you to feel your ankles. Do you feel a difference in how your body responds to the earth? It should. You should actually feel like your feet feel really good. Go take a walk, see how it feels. All right, we're gonna use the fascia blaster now and some oil. If you don't have Ashley Black's oil, it's okay. You guys need to check out her Facebook group. She's got amazing tutorials. I learned a lot of how to use the fascia blaster on my feet by watching the tutorials. So I get my foot and ankle oiled up. I use her product that she has, but there's other ones out there that you can use. I just prefer hers. It smells like the beach, which I love. So I oil everything up, and as you can see, I have two different kinds there. I have the really tiny one you can use on your face. Mine's a little bit broken, unfortunately. I've used it so much and it shattered in the bathtub, so be careful of that. And then I also have this other one, and as you can see, there's kind of prongs on, two prongs, and then there's like crayon-like shapes on the end, so they're really great. So I'm just going through my toes right here, and I'm just scrubbing lightly. That's what I want you to think, just scrubbing between the toes very lightly, releasing any kind of adhesions that may be in there that might be just getting in the way of me being able to flex and extend my toes. So I will then just extend and flex my toes. And I kind of find the areas that I feel like, oh, wait a minute, that still feels a little bit tight. So I'll go ahead and I'll use the little prong of the tiny fascia blaster, and I will start to move up, almost like you're coloring a little, page. And you're just kind of working down your foot. Okay, now you're gonna work around the lateral malleolus, which is that bone on the outside of your foot. And I'm kind of just going around it. I'm scrubbing all along where the Achilles tendon would be, just back behind the ankle. And then I'll also do the front of it where the tibialis is, which is kind of that more the medial or the internal area of your ankle. And the goal is just to loosen the fascia. If you can loosen the fascia, your mobility can increase. Now, it may be something deeper than that you'd have to see on an MRI if you have a lot of tight tissue there. But this can really just help to bring a little bit of mobility to the ankle. It's definitely an area that I've had a lot of sprained ankles. I've had a lot of trauma to both my ankles, my right especially. It's caused me a lot of issues all the way up to my hips and low back. All right, I'm just getting into the bottom of the foot, releasing any of that plantar fascia. Again, if you have plantar fasciitis, this could be really, really tender, but my mom actually healed herself quite a bit by using ice on the bottom of her foot. She went through a Rosti and chiropractic treatment, and then she used the fascia blaster every day. Okay, we're gonna roll up the pants and we're gonna work on the lower leg. Remember, your body is a kinetic chain, so everything connects. It's not that your bones and your muscles and your tendons necessarily work in isolation. Everything is connected, and so a lot of times you may be having issues in your low back. It could be stemming all the way to the foot. So I'm just gonna go up the leg, over all of those muscles on the outside, behind the leg where the Achilles feeds into the soleus, the gastroc, the tibialis, anterior muscles. So all the muscles in the lower leg, I'm just gonna go through. And again, this is very thin skin. So you want to be careful with it. If you can see, I'm trying to show you where the Achilles is. I take the two prongs of the larger fascia blaster and I just move up and down with it. Again, I have 4 different types of fascia blasters, and I did that because they all will give me a different sensation. They will loosen up the fascia different. Again, Ashley Black's Facebook group goes through a ton of tutorials. And then I will just massage it. Okay, this iced salt ball is great for healing the tissue in your foot and bringing down the inflammation. So it's used almost like the trigger point ball, except we're not putting pressure on it. We're literally just gonna move the foot back and forth and allow the inflammation to just kind of calm down a little bit. So once you've done the fascia blasting or you've had somebody work on it, this can be really, really nice. This stretching strap is a must-have. You can get it off of Amazon. It's great because you can wrap it around the area that you're trying to stretch, as well as grab the handle and be able to create the resistance that you need in order to stretch. So right now I'm just seated. I'm stretching the calf muscle. I'll give you a side view there. Now, if I was to bend my knee, then I'm going to be stretching the soleus. A lot of us are tighter in one area over the other, so just try both. Again, chronic areas you want to hold longer, maybe 1 to 2 minutes, maybe even 3 minutes. If it's just you're just stretching everything, then go about 30 to 60 seconds. All right, now that we've worked on stretching the tissue, now we're going to work on strengthening the tissue. This is a great game to strengthen the foot. So you're going to need about 20 marbles. You can sit or stand, and then you're just going to pick up the marbles. You can do one at a time. I did a couple at a time. It's going to strengthen the bottom of your feet and your toes. Once you complete it, then switch to the other foot. Ankle circles on your back is going to have you start with your hip and knee bent at 90 degrees. You're going to move your foot in circles clockwise and then counterclockwise. You're going to point the foot downward, pull the back towards the shin, and then repeat. Focus on doing about 25 reps each leg. Rest a minute between the sets. For this exercise, you're going to lie on your back, and then you're going to place the uninvolved foot on top of the involved foot. You're going to push upward with the involved foot, not allowing it to move. Make sure you don't hold your breath. You're going to hold this exercise for about 10 seconds. You can perform anywhere from 5 to 10 reps. It's just an isometric foot contraction. So trying to strengthen those muscles in your foot. Most of us think about strengthening our biceps or our abs. Rarely do we think about the front of our leg. These are anterior tib taps. You're going to stand up. You're going to have one foot slightly in front of the other, and your leg is going to be bent. And as you can see, I'm just tapping my foot. I am working the muscle between your ankle and your knee. Most of the time, our calf, which is in the back, is really tight, and this muscle is a little weaker. We don't use it that often. So this is a good way to strengthen that part of your lower leg so that you are strong all around. The next exercise is excellent if you do not want to move your joint, but you want to build some strength in the muscle. So you will be seated. You can put your foot against the wall. I have it against the stool. You can use a pillow or a towel between the foot and the wall, and you're just going to push against it. You're not going to hold your breath. You're going to hold this for 10 seconds. It's isometric. You will need a small band for this one. If you have ever sprained your ankle, this is the one for you. Most of the time when you sprain it, it's going to overstretch those ligaments. So you want to strengthen that outside of the ankle. So as you can see, I have that band around the arches of my foot. I'm going to pull the toes up towards my nose on the side that I'm going to work. And I am pulling away from the other foot and then slowly returning. I would advise you to do about 3 sets of 25. Again, if you have just sprained your ankle, this wouldn't be appropriate. This would be probably your rehab about 4 to 6 weeks after.
Just starting to crawl. Say something, I'm giving up on you. I'm sorry that I couldn't get to you. Anywhere
And then you'll switch sides.
followed you.
Here's a suggestion. If you have sprained your ankle multiple times, say on your right leg, maybe you've never sprained it on the opposite, I would do double time, which means I would do more of these on the right side than the left, because that right side probably has a little bit more damage than that left foot.
Pride. You're the one.
Find something that you could loop one side of the band to, and then the other side, the top part of your foot. So not your toes, but just below your toes. You're gonna keep your legs straight. And then I'm going to sit back so that I have enough tension on it. I'm gonna let my foot come forward, and then I'm gonna pull my toes towards my nose. Really activating that anterior tid muscle. This was part of my ankle rehab when I sprained my ankles, as well as been part of my recovery as I have been healing because of some damage I've had to my foot post-surgery.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
I would suggest about 3 sets of 25 reps. And this should be about 4 to 6 weeks or maybe even 8 weeks after an ankle sprain. It really depends on the tear level.
Say something.
Here is going to be an inversion ankle strengthening exercise. This is really important if you have plantar fasciitis or you have a problem with arches. This is going to help you to strengthen the medial or that kind of internal part of your foot. So I still have that band hooked to an anchor point, and I am literally pulling the band toward the midline of my body. If my other foot was next to it, my left foot, you would see this right foot going toward Eversion
my
ankle
left.
strengthening usually will come after an ankle sprain. Usually we will sprain the outside of our ankle. And so this type of exercise will help to strengthen the ankle on the outer side. Pull your feet away from each other, 3 sets of 25. All right, next we're going to move into dynamic flexibility. We're going to start with toe walks. You're going to go high up on your toes like you have high heels on. You're going to keep that knee straight, and you're going to walk forward and back. You can take about 5 to 10 steps. And then we're going to also do it laterally as well, because we always want to make sure that we are strengthening our body in all different planes of motion, not just forward and back. Now we're going to move into heel walks. So you're going to be on your heels. Knees are going to stay straight. You're moving from your hip. Your toes are up towards the ceiling. We're going to walk back and forth, forward and back, and then we're going to do some lateral movements. You can do about 5 to 10 steps. Repeat this a couple times. Leg clocks are next. You're going to stand on one of your legs. You're going to visualize a clock below your feet with 12 o'clock in front of you. You're going to bend your knee 45 degrees and reach with the opposite leg to 12. Return to that starting position. And then you're going to go to 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. You're going to rest for a minute between sets. And usually you can go about 2 to 3 times around, clockwise and then counterclockwise. And then switch legs. All right, moving on to more agility and power, we're going to do some plyometrics. We're going to start with some lateral hops. You can use a cone to jump over. You can use a line. You're just going to be going back and forth. You want to keep your abs really tight. And then you're just going to be shifting your body back and forth. Then you're going to do front hops. You're going to go back and forth. You're keeping your feet together. This is going to be really good to strengthen your foot. Then you're going to do diagonal hops. Again, we're always thinking about moving in a functional plane of motion. So your frontal, sagittal, and transverse plane. Our body typically will get injured when we do something quick or fast, or we move into another plane of motion, which is why it's important to train your muscles. Lunges are a great ankle, knee, and hip and core stabilizer. For this series, we're going to do stationary lunges. So think you're on a railroad track. Both feet are on either side of the track. You're dropping your hips down towards the ground, keeping the legs both at 90 degrees. The front leg, the knee is tracking over the ankle, and you're keeping the back leg, the knee, in front of the foot. This is a side view of this. Now again, when it comes to lunges, you can use dumbbells, you can use barbells. There are so many ways to do a lunge, but it's a basic movement that we do all the time when Since this video is about strengthening the ankle and the foot, do about 3 sets of 25 for each leg. Another really valuable strength exercise is a single leg squat. So I want you to think that your shoelaces are tied together if you had shoes on. And you're keeping your feet together and you're bending the leg that you're standing on and pushing up through that heel, engaging the glute. Now I know you'll think, is this a quad and a glute exercise? It is, but the focus for this is the ankle, giving the ankle a lot of action. All right, 3 sets of 25, and then all right, that has finished. Concluded my Mosaic Restore for the foot and the ankle. I hope you guys found it valuable. I will be doing more of these restorative workouts to show you guys how to strengthen various body parts. A lot of it is from my own restoration and rehab programs over the years. I will drop my website below. Give me a comment, give me a thumbs up. I'd love to hear what else you'd like to see.